In this paper, we're contributing to the literature on the energy efficiency gap outside the developed world. The energy efficiency gap exists if there's a wedge between the cost minimizing level of energy efficiency and the level that's actually realized. It could be caused by frictions, for example, the cost of acquiring information, or by mental gaps like behavioral biases such as inattention. Now, the gap is important because it's the primary rationale for a range of energy policies, for example, fuel economy standards and labeling. We know quite a bit about the gap in the developed world, but we know next to nothing outside the developed world. Now, that's a problem because a significant percentage of growth in energy consumption is expected to come from non-OECD households. So we designed an information experiment using a multiple price list to test for the gap in urban China. So we first elicit willingness to pay for an efficient LED light bulb relative to inefficient incandescent light bulbs. We then inform participants about the expected lifetime costs of using these light bulbs before we re-elicit their willingness to pay. We then ask them their beliefs about the cost of using light bulbs, followed by their beliefs about the environmental consequences of energy consumption before our enumerators draw a random price. And depending on their responses in the multiple price list, participants will receive one of the light bulbs and any remaining shopping budget. So we compare the change in willingness to pay for participants in our information treatment group with the change in willingness to pay from participants in our control group that receive only placebo information. If the change in willingness to pay among the informed group is positive relative to the control group, we'll conclude there's an energy efficiency gap in China. In our experiment, we also implement a series of priming treatments, which is designed to draw attention to the energy cost of using light bulbs without informing participants, and secondly, to draw their attention to the environmental consequences of energy consumption. Now, in practice, these treatments are implemented by reordering the modules in our initial experiment. We also interact these treatments with additional treatments, including the energy cost information. We implemented the experiment in 2018 in Beijing with 1,300 participants in person. So our first main result is that information on the energy cost of light bulbs increase willingness to pay for the energy efficient light bulbs. That effect is robust, positive, and significant across specifications. In contrast, we don't find robust evidence that priming participants had an impact on willingness to pay. This coefficient of the environmental priming treatment is positive and significant in this specification, but it's not robust, and it's certainly a lot smaller than the effect of information. So we're going to conclude that there is an energy efficiency gap in China. Our second main result is that information revised beliefs about the expected energy savings of LED light bulbs downwards. So here we're seeing median beliefs of participants about the 10-year savings from the energy efficient bulb. On the left are the median beliefs of participants who had not received information in our treatment, and that's 500 yuan. On the right, we see median beliefs of participants who had received information in our experiment, and that was 300 yuan. So information revised beliefs downwards and towards the information provided in our experiment, which was 215 yuan. This difference is statistically significant. So we're finding that information about energy savings increases willingness to pay for an energy efficient bulb, but reduces expectations about the associated energy savings. So that result is somewhat unusual in the literature, where it's common to find that people underestimate the energy savings associated with energy efficient appliances. So our final result is that the effect of information on willingness to pay for energy efficiency is positive even among participants who were ex ante the most optimistic about the energy savings of light bulbs. So people whose beliefs were the most optimistic about the energy savings of LEDs before they were informed. Now, that suggests that our information treatment is not operating by purely correcting biased beliefs. So in the paper, we outline how our results are instead consistent with a model where people are very uncertain about the energy savings of energy efficient light bulbs, and they value the reduction in uncertainty that comes from our information treatment.